So Gobsmacked. So like when you're shocked, you're like... Minasan, konnichiwa, Squishy Toke, yokoso. Okay, today's video is another British slang video for you. I just want to point out that every time I do one of these videos, it's usually slang that I use growing up in London. So there is a lot of slang in the UK in general, but some of it is specific to certain areas only. Typically, and I say typically because not always, the slang we use in London is recognised all over the UK, but there's slang in other parts of the UK that maybe people in London don't know that well. So yeah, I'm always going to tell you what I know, which is what I learned growing up in London. So yeah, I hope that makes sense. So let's get on to the first word for today. So the first word we have is plastered. So yeah, I know that sounds kind of medical, like a plaster when you have a cut or an injury, but it's actually not related to that at all. If anything, it's kind of the opposite. So plastered means drunk. So we have a lot of words in the UK that mean drunk, especially a lot of slang words. This is just one of them, and this is probably my favourite, and I don't know why. It just is. So yeah, plastered means drunk. For example, you can say, oh wow, last night I got really plastered. Last night I got really drunk. You can literally use those words interchangeably. Okay, so that's plastered. So moving on to number 2, we have knackered. So knackered is kind of a strange word because it has 2 meanings. One of the meanings I would say is less of a slang word, and the other one I would say is more like a slang word. So the first meaning of knackered is tired. This is the one where I'm not sure if it's too much of a slang word or just a word we use in the UK generally. So yeah, knackered means tired, that's its first meaning. So you can literally say, I'm so knackered, meaning I'm so tired. And then its second meaning is something that's just not working properly or broken. So for example, you could say, oh, the TV's a bit knackered, which means the TV's not working properly. It's a bit broken. So yeah, that's knackered. The next word we have is wonky. I know Taro likes this word, so yeah, Taro.
Yeah, wonky is like something, something not straight.
Yeah.
Like bending or something.
Yeah. So the perfect example of this is if you have a photo or a picture hanging on your wall and it's not hung straight. You know, sometimes it takes ages. You put it on the wall, you stand back, you look at it. Why does it look weird? Wonky. So if it's not straight, if it's not perfect, you would say, ah, oh, that looks a bit wonky. Some people also use wonky just for anything that just doesn't look how it's supposed to look. I tend to just use it for things that are supposed to be straight but aren't, in terms of like how they look. Yeah. So yeah, wonky. It's a fun word to say as well, I feel like. Wonky. Alright, so the next word we have is gobsmacked, and I use this all the time. Gobsmacked literally means shocked, and you can use it as a replacement for the word shocked. So I was so shocked, I was gobsmacked. Or even if someone tells you something scandalous, like someone we know is pregnant. It's not scandalous. I don't know, I can't come up with a good example, but basically you would respond, I'm gobsmacked, I'm shocked. Yeah. So I'll give you a little bit of history as to probably how the word gobsmacked came about, but there is a slang word in the UK which is actually a little bit rude in my opinion, where you call your mouth your gob, which it just sounds horrible. And then obviously you might know that when you smack something, you're kind of doing that motion, that noise. So gob, smacked. So like when you're shocked, you're like, and that's kind of where it comes from. So yeah, gobsmacked, always a fun one. Okay, the next word we have is actually 2 words, but I decided to kind of treat them as one because it's the same thing. So most of you probably know that in the UK we call a pound a quid. We also say tenner for £10 and the next one fiver for £5. So yeah, if you ever visit the UK, instead of saying £10 or £5, why don't you try tenner or fiver? Like, oh, I'm really sorry, but could I borrow a tenner? Or could I borrow a fiver? So yeah, that's those. The next word we have is Hoover. Taro, you know what this one is.
Yeah, Hoover is like a vacuum, yeah?
Yeah. The first time I said it to him, he was a bit confused. But yeah, Hoover is what we call a vacuum in the UK. You can absolutely say vacuum as well. No one's going to be confused or not know what you're saying. We are fully aware that we are one of the only countries that says Hoover instead of vacuum. So the reason why we do this is because we had a really, I mean, we still do, have a really popular vacuum brand called Hoover. I don't know if you've ever seen like these Hoovers, but there's Henry the Hoover and he's like a red little Hoover with a face on it. Yeah, so that's one of our was one of our most popular vacuum brands, so we just used to say Hoover instead of vacuum. Yeah, a bit like in the US, they say Band-Aid instead of plaster because Band-Aid is their largest manufacturer of plasters.
Right, so speaking of Hoover, or vacuum anyway, Dyson is from the UK, right?
Yeah, Dyson's from the UK.
So the last time I went to Heathrow Airport, like in the toilet, there was like a hand dryer. Yeah, that was from Dyson.
I miss those so much. So if you ever use a public bathroom in London, sometimes, not all the time, so don't quote me, but sometimes the hand dryers are supplied by Dyson. They're so strong. You like slide your hands in and like this gust of really strong air dries your hands, and it actually like you can see your skin moving, right? Because it's so powerful. Yeah. So yeah, Dyson is also from the UK. Yeah. Okay, so the next word we have, our final word, is kip. So we use this for literally, I want to sleep or take a nap. So I'm really tired. I think I'm gonna have a kip. I'm really tired, I think I'm gonna have a nap, I think I'm gonna have well, not sleep, but some sleep. So I would say kip is more, I use it in place of nap, but I know some people use it in place of sleep. So yeah, that was 7 new slang words for you all. I hope you liked them. Maybe you'll use them in some of your vocabulary in the future. That would be great. Taro, what was your favourite?
I don't know, but I'm knackered, so I need, I need kip. That makes sense, right?
Yeah, I'm knackered, so I need a kip. Yeah.
That's the British in it.
It's just so British in it. Yeah. I don't know. Everybody uses slang differently. Some people literally use slang as often as they can. I don't use it that often.
Right, yeah, you always nap instead of kip, right?
Yeah.
I
feel like there's some slang words I use frequently and some that I don't. Like, I use knackered all the time.
Yeah,
Gobsmacked, I use it all the time.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah. But there are some words that I just don't use. I don't know why. I think it's because people have favourites, right? And if you have other versions of the word, like, you can say kip or you can say nap. Like, I prefer to say nap. But some people prefer kip, so it just really depends on what you like, which is one of the great things about slang. You don't have to use it. Yeah. Well, anyway, don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed videos like this, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.